So we're not taking money from you. We're actually saving you. Like not many services in the space can say.
When I came to United States, for me, it was so weird. Like I have to pay everywhere with a credit card.
Oh, if that's through their bank, they're probably getting charged a 3 or 5% conversion fee. That's not negotiable. That is just standard rate across the board. And when you, every 2 weeks, no matter what, if you're selling internationally. So right then and there, you're already saving money with Ping Pong and receiving. Yeah.
How much time will take in between, like the moment I convert it till the moment I see my money on my account?
They make their investments, their hard-earned money into their products, into services, whatever it looks like. And we want to make sure that they know that their money's safe. We just want...
Hello, everyone. Here's Izabella Ritz with Ritz Momentum, Amazon Made Simple podcast, and Ryan Cramer from Ping Pong. Hey, Ryan.
Izabella, hi. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, and I'm so happy to see you. You promised me that you will be one of my first people who will jump on my podcast, and I really appreciate it. So you're actually number 2.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, if I'm number 1, that was pretty quick. But yeah, I promised I would do that. And it's fantastic to meet smart and intelligent people who've done great things and have elevated the Amazon and e-commerce community. And you're one of them. So I cleared my schedule, make sure I can be here today to talk with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, this podcast created specifically for English-speaking audience and Russian-speaking audience. So every single video we're releasing is with Russian-speaking subtitles. That's why we're creating all videos pre-recorded with like no surprises for you, but with a surprise for our audience. Okay, so every single podcast is like 15-20 minutes. We're trying to make it short and valuable for every single listener. So, and my first question is, no, I will do the backup. I know you guys are saving money for people.
We are.
Is that true?
That's very true. We have saved tens of thousands for every seller, or for many different sellers, and some are biggest sellers. We've actually saved, 6 figures for them just for using a free, I say free, an easy service that is not leaving money on the table. So we're not taking money from you. We're actually saving you. Like not many services in the space can say we're saving you money on the front end instead of helping. Hey, you pay us and then we'll save you the money.
How does this work? Like everywhere I'm going to, and even our company, if people are paying with a credit card, it's always like 3% processing fee, something processing fee, here's processing fee. And you're like, we're so cool and tough, and we decided
to sign up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like too good to be truth. So tell me more. How does it work?
So I wouldn't have joined a company if it wasn't really easy to do, and it provided value, right? So my background comes in very easy. I've been in I call it e-commerce bingo. I've been in SaaS. I've been in service. I've also been a seller. So I wanted to work for an international company that was ultimately just wanting to help make something more simple, right? That's why services come into existence. Ping Pong started about 7 years ago, so we're still considered a quote startup. We have about 600 employees internationally, worldwide. There's people like myself in the United States where we're growing the biggest, helping sellers save more money when it comes to international transactions. So we really work in the international markets quite a bit. Saving money is pretty easy with us. The way that people used to send and receive money can be done through international transfers through banks. So how that's done is you go in person to a bank, send a wire, make sure all your numbers are correct, make sure that there's money in your account, and you would send it to an entity, whether it be in China, India, wherever in the world. If you're in e-commerce, that's traditionally where people are sending their funds for suppliers, and you would wait until money clears or something happens where they receive your money. But the process between when you press send and then they're receiving, it can take anywhere from 7 to 14 business days, which is time that you don't have as an entrepreneur. So Ping Pong actually developed an ecosystem partnering with tier 1 banks like a Chase, a Citi, or Wells Fargo, HSBC, to open up virtual accounts on behalf of people and entities, business entities, and make sure that they can send money digitally quicker than they can in the old archaic system. So on that behalf, PingPong is able to move money around the world safely, effectively, and quickly, which is where we are today.
I would jump with a question here. Should
Sure.
I use only bank account for this transaction, or I can use my credit card for that?
Good question. So bank account. So we are, because you're pulling from an account, like a traditional bank account. You get an account number, a rounding number, a SWIFT code. So we're actually dealing with the funds that you have instead of dealing with credit. A completely different tier of economics and finance. So when you're paying with entities, like for example, if you're a PPC and you're paying with points or you're paying credit cards and you're getting cash back, what I tell people is that's great on the front end, but you might be paying out more with conversion fees on the back end that you might not be realizing, and you might be getting less back in points. So you really have to do the math. It goes back to basic, like 7th grade math of which is down the road, there's going to be someone that's getting paid. Where is it, and how much are you losing out as a consumer? So ultimately, economics, you need to do the math and know where they're taking from and where you're getting value back in return. So I say it does depend on the entity, but with us, you have funds in your bank account. You're paying out with whatever currency that you currently have with an account with us, and you're going to be paying out in that local currency that you're trying to send to. So
makes sense. Yeah. However, a lot of people, they have a fear. We're already, generally speaking, get used to. When I came to United States, for me, it was so weird. Like I have to pay everywhere with a credit card, sure, because if I'm paying with a credit card, it means I can refund this money if something went wrong. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the biggest confusion I ever had, because back to Russia, we never been raised this way. We actually been paying cash everywhere. Right. People still do that. So anyway, here we get used to, like, we are paying with a credit card. We secure, if something happened, we can always file the claim. And if the claim didn't go through, we can refile the claim. So now you guys, it's no way you become an international worldwide company without securing the payments that you are working with. So how would that work if I'm using my bank account where all my money in to pay to like people in a different countries, and maybe like third-party countries or like
sure,
third world countries?
Yeah, safety is one of the main pillars that we want to make sure like we're built on. If something happens to someone's money, they'll never trust you again. That's just honest fact. If something with business, if a client came to you, Izabella, and said, "Hey, you tanked our business," they would never trust you again. So that's the same with us, which is not the case. Anyone listening to this, you want to have that reputation of safety, security, and compliance. And because we're in the financial world, we have to go through these strenuous things. So when you're going to PingPong and you sign up for an account, it's free to do, and you can do that like seen below at pingpongx.com. It will redirect you depending on where in the world you're listening to this and signing up. We go through a process called KYC, or know your customer. So knowing your customer, we actually ask for a lot of financial information, account information, business information, depending on who you are trying to open up an account for, individual or business. So that can be through your tax ID number, through passports, through your driver's license, if you're also a local entity. We do all those things to make sure that, because we're regulated by OFAC and a lot of other international compliance entities, we have to make sure that there's nothing nefarious done with the money moving around the world, because that's in fact what we're doing, is moving monies from one country to another more often than not. So we have to do this to protect not only ourselves, but not funding terrorism and very scary stuff like that, where no one wants to think about, but just making sure that your money is safe and secured, and that, like you mentioned before, if I have a credit card, I can have a chargeback if that wasn't me. Well, we go and we verify every entity before you send it to make sure they're a legitimate business, to make sure that in fact, they are a business. They're not some random person who's pretending to be a business. We want to make sure that money is going and protecting you, so that you can stay and know that, hey, in fact, if they receive my funds, they are receiving it for what they in fact claim. So there are ways that we protect not only the seller in this case, but also the receiver, in making sure that everyone is on the same page and is above the fold, if you will. A very bad metaphor, but trying to make sure that everyone's doing the right thing. And we only work in the business to business world. So it wouldn't be like if I can pay you, Isabella, for like dinner last night, if I can't pay you through Ping Pong because it's a direct to consumer or B2C payment. We only regulate in business to business. Or if I'm a third party seller and I'm paying out a freelancer, I can do that. But if I want to pay for my dinner bill last night, I can't do that with Ping Pong because on the back end, if you try to say this entity is for business and this one is for personal reasons, it's almost impossible for us to deep dive into personal versus business without having access to your accounts, which is not something we want to do. We want to make sure it's all safe and secure. So that's why we're a business to business solution.
I love it. At the same time, right now I have two questions. Question number one, about B2B. So how many cases, I'm not asking if you had some, because I believe you did. This is how business works. It's like every single business has cost of the business because we all have losses at some point. So how many cases did you have when actually the transaction was made and they end up as a fraud?
Yeah. So in terms, I don't have any insight into specific numbers, but we try to do that. So there's things called, obviously that you mentioned chargebacks. So there's chargebacks in terms of, hey, either they changed something on the last end. And this is what I talk about on all of our talks is you also have to be due diligent on making sure that there's not nefarious people on the other end trying to change something on the last second. For example, supplier fraud is a very consistent and unfortunate means, especially in our industry, where a lot of people get ran over or they get screwed over, for lack of a better term. In that case, because they're changing addresses at the last second, or they are only offering, they're asking you to pay more up front. Again, the reasons behind it are fraudulent in that capacity, but Ping Pong has no insight into that. If they're a legitimate entity, we obviously want to make sure that if you are through all your authentications are saying, yes, I want to send money to them, and they pass our background checks, that of course is, not
you
up to
were
us.
Trying to say if like so many steps this company passed, it's the percentage and the chance that they are actually fraudulent is very low.
Very, very true. And we have a actual team who's a global compliance team whose singular job is to make sure that none of these people exist in our ecosystem and they're receiving funds through or on behalf of Ping Pong. Because ultimately, when we move money around the world, our name is on the hook for that too, because we're pushing money out through another entity, whatever it's a bank account or whatever's receiving those funds. We don't want them to be a bad actor either. So there are cases with competitors of ours that have gotten caught and they had to trace everything back. And unfortunately, whether they were apparent or not, they got to cycle through their ecosystem, even just briefly. That is fraudulent, and they can get tagged with large fines. Luckily today, and I'm knocking on wood for all of my team to hear, and luckily today, and I don't hopefully invite any nefarious actors out there, we have not had a single case of fraud or anything like that come through our ecosystem because we're so strenuous, and we would rather question and make sure everything is secure up front instead of later and ask for forgiveness, because our business then wouldn't exist either if that was the case.
It's like I hear how Chase Bank is talking to me right now. Seriously, like when we've been opening accounts and we'll keep opening sometimes with Chase, I'm always prepared for like 3 days of verification.
Yep.
Because if I add like I have to pay to China or to like in the past to Russia, like these countries, it's been always red flag.
Absolutely.
And they're like, okay, if you're doing this, we have to verify. Mm-hmm. So I understand.
Same reasons, yeah.
Yeah, they have some reasons for that. Question. So yes. As an entrepreneur in e-commerce space, I am paying to my employees. And as you mentioned, it's like very common where we can do B2C. We cannot pay for the dinner last night, but we can pay as a salary.
Of course.
So to our contractors, how much money in average I can save, and can I pay on a way where the receiver might get money in the same currency. So, for example, dollar to dollar, or like I have to only use dollar to rupees,
right,
or pesos.
Good question. So, a lot of people don't even think about this because they think about convenience first and not what actually they're paying. So, this is kind of behind the curtain scene. So, your first question, you're probably paying either through a PayPal or a third-party ecosystem of trying to pay them in US dollar to US or whatever currency. If it's a direct to consumer third party app, again, PayPal is notorious for a lot of people to pay and move money around the world. Venmo, a lot of those capacities. But if you're sending money to, for example, in a different country, your employees, you're going to be, you or the receiver is actually going to be slapped with a convenience fee or a currency conversion fee. That can be anywhere from as high, I've seen as high as 7% with PayPal just to send money to entities. And that's all the back end. And every transaction, if you go back and see ultimately how much in fees you're paying, and that's not just you yourself, the receiver is also going to be receiving money in fees. So again, is it really, are you receiving the amount that you were promised or told by employer employee? No, that's unfortunately not the case, or you're going to have to go above and beyond and pay that. But if you're paying in localized currency, that again, if they're in, for example, Russia, or if they're in different countries around the world that you're sending money to, they probably aren't using that as their main form of currency. They have to convert that somewhere on their own side. So if that's through their bank, they're probably getting charged a 3 or 5% conversion fee. That's not negotiable. That is just standard rate across the board by any bank that you might be using. And just to convert it towards currency that you can use locally in your own economy. So with that being said, even if you're paying out in localized currency, you're talking about conversion fees, and then you're also talking about convenience fees, all stack up into, might be small initially, but if you're talking at scale, you're paying a supplier with 6 figures, that all is going to add up, and it could be $1,000 here, it can be $1,000 there, it could be tens of thousands of dollars over a month or over a year. That all's money that you're just paying for the sake of sending and receiving money, quote unquote, doing business. So what Ping Pong does is we've eliminated a lot of barriers and a lot of those goals. I call them doors that you have to go through, because people like to take money along the way. If it's sending money from this bank and going to this bank, each bank wants to have a piece of the cut, right? So we've eliminated a lot of those doors that you have to go through, and we only charge when money is converted. So that is where we end. Ping Pong only makes money when you convert funds in our ecosystem. It's not to hold money. You don't we don't charge to when you sign up or anything like that. If you convert money in our ecosystem, that's where we charge. But we are transparent. We only charge a maximum of 1% conversion fee, and that's it.
Nice.
So you're not paying a international transfer fee or a transfer wire fee, which is typically 35 to 45, maybe on up. It depends on where you're banking and if you have a good bank. But if we've done the math too, if you're doing not just saving time, because $35 doesn't seem like a lot to people, US dollars, it can be to some businesses. And if you're making 100 transactions a month or wires a month to employees, to your suppliers, to outside entities, that adds up quickly. But also the time that you have to spend to go to these banks, to go in person, to make those transfers, make sure all the numbers are correct, that time aspect also adds up. And we have a great case study. I think it adds up to, if you did 200 transactions a month and you took the time about 7 minutes per transaction, I think it's an average of 36 business days that you're spending just on doing accounting, which again, all accountants out there, I think if I told you that you got a month of your time back of just going to a bank, or as an entrepreneur, instead of going to make a payment, a month time that you can spend on growing your business, or spending time talking on podcasts with you, Izabella, I think they would take that every single day. So that the time aspect is also super important. It's not, I call it the not sexy aspect of e-commerce, but it is very important when you're talking about international growth, growing your brand, and just growing as an entrepreneur worldwide. You want to have control over some aspect and some fees on Amazon. When they throw all these at you and you just have to accept them, the cost of doing business, not always the case, and you have control over that with us.
And regarding the time, I'm super greedy with the time. I agree.
Okay.
Every single time I'm doing something, or like someone is asking me to do something today, I had to attend my son's meeting at school, and it's like always BS and nothing
Right.
but BS. Like you don't want to waste your time, especially when we don't have problem with my child. And I'm like, no, at the very last moment, I will cancel it. I never do that in business, but unless I will do it this way, they
I
will
like that.
keep eating me because I have to waste my time for nothing. It's just here's the system and here's you. So I just wanted to make, I just wanted to mention that we're on the same page. I
Absolutely.
understand what time is. So, and regarding the time, here I have the question. How long will take the verification process? I have two questions.
Yep.
How long will take the verification process of the vendor or the receiver if it's a B2C?
Right. So if you're signing up today as a Amazon seller, for example, we traditionally say anywhere from 24 to 72 hours, probably sooner. But if you contact, and as long as you have all the information that we request ready and on hand, you can skip it clearly. But until we get all the information to verify, it typically takes anywhere from 24 to 72 hours. And that's to make sure that you have an account with us. Once you have an account, you can open up 12, I think maybe it's 13 now, receiving accounts. So you can receive US dollar, the Mexican peso, the Canadian dollar, Australian dollar. I can go on and on. The pound, the euro, the Singapore dollar, Japanese yen. I think the Hong Kong dollars in there. So you can have all these receiving accounts for free as you need them and as you grow. If you're also a business, so that's good to know too, because as you grow your business and you're selling in these different marketplaces, you have a receiving account that you can receive from Amazon and have control when you want to have that money converted.
Yeah,
A lot of people actually, Amazon hits your account every 2 weeks, which is nice for a lot of people, or even sooner. I think a lot of people can, if they're consistent with Amazon, they say, hey, we'll give your money 3 days sooner. But if you're in a different marketplace, you maybe don't want to convert it then, because anytime you convert money, that's when you pay that a fee for Ping Pong or any other entity. Amazon actually has ACCS, or Amazon converter. It's the currency converter solution, which they charge. They used to charge a lot more. Now the maximum they charge, I think it's anywhere from 2% to 1.5%. So they're still charging you even when you every 2 weeks, no matter what, if you're selling internationally. So right then and there, you're already saving money with Ping Pong. And at scale, if you grow, we grow with you, and we actually drop our rates down even lower. Can go down to like 0.3%. We do that because we want the seller to grow and obviously use us, where it's a win-win situation. So we don't want Amazon to take all of our money. We want to help you in that capacity too.
So to my understanding here, you actually, like, I don't have to open a bank account in all Amazon country marketplaces. I can just use Ping Pong for that, your accounting and routing numbers, which is in the different countries they call differently. And this is how I'll receive money. This is awesome. So how I will be able to withdraw money from your account?
Yeah, so you can withdraw it to as many different business accounts as you want. If you have a business account, if you have a partner, it can go to a partner account, or if you have you can have it point to as many different accounts as you want in that capacity. But if you're in the United States, Isabella, and you have a U.S. bank account, and you're selling in Germany, for example, which again is a great marketplace. You want to hold on to the euro, and then once it gets converted over to the US dollar, you can have it point to that bank account and withdraw it as often as you want it to, or you can hold on to the euro until you pay out a supplier or a partner or entity there. And you can have rules set in place. So if it reaches a certain amount, that's when you want it to convert. And you get the rates real time. Every 60 seconds it updates. So you see what the value of all these different currencies are receiving account wise, and what in real time it would convert over, and what the Ping Pong fee is. So we don't like hide anything in terms of conversions. It hits that account whenever you deem and schedule it for
This is so
in
sweet.
receiving. Yeah.
How much time will take in between like the moment I convert it till the moment I see my money on my account?
That's a good question. Typically, like I said, I think if you're doing it within our ecosystem, you should see that it's equal to real time. I think withdrawing, I think once we make sure that it's verified and it hits and converts correctly, I think it's same time of like 48 to 72 hours, which is not too bad. I think it might be even sooner, depending on how often you're in. automatic, or you can set up automatic withdrawals. So we know how much in advance. So, but you have a customer service team too, that's dedicated to each individual account. So other times if there's like troubleshooting or, hey, I'm expecting a payout in this time frame, we want to convert it here and here, you can have people on standby to make sure like there's no hiccups or anything like that as well. So,
Great.
yeah.
And I believe my last question is, so to my understanding, I have to, if I want to send money as an agency, I still can do that, right?
Yep.
So
Any business entity. Yep.
wonderful. So I'm signing up today and I'm asking all my employees to sign up with the Ping Pong. And in this case, I will be able to transfer money from me to them, right?
Yep. It'll be instantaneous in that regards too. So if you're sending it outside our ecosystem, that's where that delay comes in. But if you're sending money to another Ping Pong account, they'll see that money
Immediately.
Instantaneously. 30 minutes. I think that's not terrible.
Okay.
But yeah, within the same day, you should see that.
Okay, and so if their PingPong account, for example, opened in Philippines, so from their Philippines account to their Philippines bank account, so from PingPong account to bank account, is it also 24 to 72, or it's shorter?
Yeah, once we verify that whatever receiving accounts, we check everything. So whatever account that it's going to go to, that money from Ping Pong's ecosystem is going to, once it's verified, that time window, once you make the first transaction and it's okayed by our compliance team, it shrinks down to, in real time. So I would say the 24 hours to 72 hours as well, just to be safe, just because in different parts of the world, things always happen.
Yeah.
There's holidays. A lot of customers of ours recently said, why is it the transaction taking an extra day or two? And we said, because the banks in China are on holiday and we kind of are under their guidelines as well. Again, different parts of the world have different holidays and things like that. And unfortunately, it's not on ours, but we deal with the global economies, not just, localized banks down the street. So we apologize in advance if there's an extra day or two. But again, I can't emphasize safety and security of money for entrepreneurs. That's the most valuable thing, because they make their investments, their hard-earned money into their products, into services, whatever it looks like. And we want to make sure that they know that their money's safe. We just want them to keep more of it and not have to pay out to, unnecessarily to other entities. That's why Amazon trusts us to be a part of their partnership network. We have partners all over the world who value us, and we have we've eclipsed over 1 million customers worldwide in the world in 7 years and have transacted over $100 billion in monies. So to date, we're doing pretty good at that ratio, I think.
I love it. Ryan, thank you so much for sharing all this info. I would love to ask more questions, but I believe we should save it for the next podcast.
Part 2 and 3. I'm full of info.
Yeah, I can tell. Well, what I can say, I'm going to sign up all my foreigner employees. I don't have much of them, but the one who definitely I will be able to pay via PingPong are, we have just couple on Philippines, and we have a lot of people in Ukraine, which we just hired recently. And I also want to encourage audience, if you can hire people from Ukraine, they are right now without jobs, so talented, top managers, creative people who you will never be able to find them because they're always busy. They hired, and right now they're available, they're ready to work, and they're ready to expand their ability to work in USA, Canada, Mexico, any country you're in. So yeah, we will try you guys. You sound so great. So
I guess that's why they pay me the big dollars, I guess. What's the expression? They pay me the big bucks for that. But no, again, it's an easy service. And again, I would highly suggest everyone look at it. Again, it's free to sign up. And if it doesn't fit you, it grows with you. I would call us a growth partner. As you scale in your business and you go into different marketplaces outside of Amazon, we also work. So it's like Rakuten, Mercado Libre, Cdiscount, JD.com, all these different websites that if you as a business and a brand, which I know you're planning on taking over the world in your segment, we highly suggest that you look at somebody that can grow with you and that you can receive from all different currencies in all parts of the world. And you can also send money to, again, I think the number is at 170 different countries that we support. So if there's ever issues, you can also email me as well directly. And our team is 100% on board. We have former Amazonians, former Alibabians. I'm gonna make that word up. Former people who worked at Alibaba.
My husband said Baba.
The Babas,
Just the
yeah,
Babas.
exactly. But we have partners in multiple marketplaces all over the world. Again, like Rakuten, Coupang in South Korea. They all trust us to help in those segments grow, and that's something that they're also. It's easier to get into those marketplaces once they know that you're already set up for success, and you're not waiting on another international bank or entity as well. So our service is very simple, very straightforward. But if you have questions, email me right there, and ask questions, and we're here to support and help you no matter what.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. So just to summarizing, if you guys want to make any type of payments to foreign countries, the easiest way to verify supplier, vendor, whatever company or person you're going to pay to is you can do it via Ping Pong. You can ask any questions related to this topic under this video, and Ping Pong team will be happy to answer all of them because they're going to be tagged in this video. So they will watch it very attentively and carefully. So thank you, everyone. Ryan, thank you to be here. This is the website that you guys have to go to sign up. And Ryan's email.
Let me know. Yeah, I'm more than happy to help. And like I said, if there's any questions, again, depending on who you are as a brand, we're more than happy to. Again, that 1% is just the start. There's other competitors which are fantastic. I never bash our competitors. I think that they're fantastic. But if you're looking to save the most money, if you're looking to have actual control over it, you share with us whatever you have. We're going to guarantee to beat that. And also for the listeners, if you sign up for our supplier pay functionality and you mention you heard us on this podcast or this show, we can offer 3 months of no fees on the supplier pay side. So that would be the offer too. Just mention, reach out to me.
We didn't discuss it actually, but thank you.
I just thought about that. So, right.